Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I want to do a video about probably one of the most important words in the real estate language for 2017 that applies to me. And hopefully it applies to you because you are working your ass off. My name is James Festini, and I am a full-time real estate agent in Southern California. I am also your real estate sales trainer and coach. For those of you who appreciate my videos, there are ways to show your appreciation. You can make a comment below. You can subscribe on the right-hand side on the YouTube. You can go to jamesfestini.com/training and hire me for one-on-one coaching if you feel like you got something stuck. I don't do contracts, and honestly, I'm really not a big fan of coaching on your schedule. I like to do it on my schedule, and that is here when I record these videos on the way home or to and from appointments and whatnot. Or just go to jamesfestini.com/training on the right-hand side. Subscribe as a patron using Patreon and become a member of the arts. This is the arts. So, tenacity. My dad was a real estate agent for many years. He was a buyer's agent. My mom was a listing agent. And they made a good team. But my dad would always sit and watch me call for hours and hours. He would hang out with me. I miss my dad. I really do miss my dad because he was such a great fan and supporter of what I did. You know, when I was on the phones, he would just be blown away. He would do what you guys are doing on this live Beast Mode lead gen on my Facebook page, the Real Estate Sales Trainer and Coach page. If you go there, you'll watch me prospect live. I do my live door knocking and I do my live telephone prospecting. But it's not a very entertaining platform because you can't be entertained by witnessing repetitious boredom, especially at the level I do it. Today I reached 172 doors. 172 doors. A total of, well, my watch says, it was about a total of 4 hours of going door to door. Then I came into the office at about 6:30 and sat down to do some telephone prospecting, followed up with my warms. I actually set an appointment. So, what? Yeah, I set a listing appointment for tomorrow. It's the snowball effect, and it's taking time to create a database large enough. We do a lot of lead generation, which takes a tremendous amount of tenacity. And my dad would watch me, and he would always say the word tenacity. And I've always wanted to put a tattoo on. I got lots of tattoos. They're all hidden. But I'm covered in tattoos. And one of the tattoos that I've always wanted was real big, the word tenacity. Because if there's one word that describes me best, it's tenacity, tenacious. Tenacity is the ability to endure. I mean, if anything describes the method for prospecting and door knocking that I use, it's tenacity. It's the ability to sit for hours at a time and prospect. It's the ability to stand up and knock on doors for 4 hours until your feet hurt or your back hurts or really none of it hurts until that night. Just now when I got out of the office, and I've sat for the first time since 9 o'clock this morning because I've been on the go, knocking on the doors. I went home, had a quick lunch, and sat for a couple of minutes, but it didn't hit me. So I stood up from my desk, and oh my gosh, I stood up as if I was 90 years old with bad arthritis. Bad. I mean, I was moaning and wailing. What I can safely say is that even training for a marathon, I still don't hurt unless I do like the long weekend distance runs, 15, 18, 20 miles. I don't hurt as bad as I'm hurting right now. I mean, I got a lump in my throat even just like vocalizing that to the universe. I'm saddened by the amount of pain I'm causing myself. I'm so pregnant, I say. On the way out today, I told my wife, I go, babe, I'm so pregnant with leads. I'm going to give birth to like quintuplets. And I think March is the month. And as March is slowly gaining traction, I'm just like, man, if March doesn't happen, April. I mean, I've got so many leads. And I'm doing such an effective lead follow-up where I've got a dozen that are like right on the edge of listing. And it's all because of tenacity. The ability to generate leads at such a high degree. I've been lead genning in this new territory for a year. I've like had it up to here with lead gen. I mean, all day. But what tenacity means to me, what you really need to understand about the virtues of tenacity, is that threshold for endurance that takes you just above the quitting point and breaks through one more day, where at the end of the day you are so exhausted, like you just can't take another, I don't know if it's rejection, but another, like it's this battery that you charge at night, and in the morning you give it one little quick surge of power, aka yoga and a cup of coffee after a good night's rest. I'm gonna go in the jacuzzi again tonight because I'm really blasting my body. I get a good night's sleep, and then the next morning you wake up and you're so determined. Today is the day I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna door knock. And I'm convinced that after 4,000 doors, you get a listing. Just 4,000 doors is a lot. That's my math. That's my proven math. Maybe I can shorten that, but all I know is that if I get 4,000 or 5,000 doors under my belt, I mean, every day I'm generating leads. Yesterday I generated 2 great ones. And the quality of the leads you generate at the door are far better than the quality of the leads you generate on the phone. 10 times better, because you talk to them, you see them, you engage them, you get a name, number, email address, they see you, you can send a letter, there's an opening. It's just as good as a referral because they're saying yes in X amount of time, whether it's a year or 6 months or 3 months or 2 weeks. I got one yesterday that said, I'm interviewing next week, and I got my foot in the door and I'm just like, I can smell it, I can feel it, I can touch it, I know it's right there. Tenacity is knowing it's right there. You're just about there. Tenacity is not giving up when you're there. I don't know what story I read. I think it was Fanatical Prospecting, the book by Jeb Blunt. In my opinion, like my top 3 books ever. Fanatical Prospecting. It's like I wrote it. Honestly, if I wrote a book on prospecting, it's called Fanatical Prospecting. Just Jeb beat me to the punch. And I never read it before. I got the Audible. And I never read it, believe it or not. As a fanatical prospector, I just never read it. I got through it last week in a day. I just fiended. I think it was 2 days, actually, a day and a half. But it talks about this obsession with being driven and not giving up. There's a story in there. There's like 3 feet from the gold, a story of a miner who was digging for gold or scraping against a cave for gold, and sold his cave for cheap because he wasn't getting anything. And someone else came in and bought it, and within 3 feet of that new miner coming in, he was able to go in and dig. And this is a true story, back in the gold rush days, that there was someone who came in and hit it one more time, hit the wall 3 or 4 more times, and then boom, opened up the biggest gold mine ever. Within 3 feet, this guy could have been a billionaire for the day or a nobody. And that's how it works with real estate. You're 3 feet away from that lead. And if you could just stay 100% focused with 100% tenacity, ingrained into your core of your belief, knowing that all I have to do is just push myself, exhaust every ounce of energy, every possible calorie you can burn. Every muscle is aching. I mean, we're talking just excruciating pain, just like I think Conor McGregor has to feel this way, or great boxers or greatest athletes, where they are at their like peak training period. The greatest marathon runner right now, I mean, the person who thinks they're going to win the LA Marathon in not this Sunday but the next Sunday, there is someone in Southern California or on planet Earth who has been training, and right now, a week and a half before that marathon, they're running their fastest ever, and they're breaking every possible barrier to test those limits, and then they're going to taper once they know they've hit that threshold. But with real estate, you can't taper. You don't have the luxury. You've got to go. The taper comes once you pop 5, 10, 15 listings. And I'm in an ultra competitive market. I didn't prepare for the ultra competitive market. I thought it'd be easier. What do? A tenacious person, the tenacity in me says more, faster. I have a mantra that when I'm door knocking, I got one word that repeats: faster, faster. I've got to call more people faster. I've got to be just like, stick it in my, just tie it off, just fucking slam it in my vein, and just take on every possible, source of energy of the universe, and exhaust and blow every fuse by the end of the day. Burn the candle at both ends. Recharge at night and bust out stronger than ever with tenacity. And I'm encouraging you guys, if you are frustrated with your results, I guarantee you it's because you're not trying hard enough. If your feet don't hurt, if your legs, if your ankles, if your back, if your throat, if your brain does not hurt at the end of the day, you're not doing it right. That's all I have to say. You are not doing it right. Can you honestly say at the bottom, go ahead and comment at the bottom of this. Be honest and comment and say, if there is such thing as 100%, did you give it? Did I give 100% today? Yeah. I gave at least 95. And how can I measure 100%? I can measure 100% with downtime. Did I go on Facebook and tinker around? Was I on YouTube butterflying around YouTube suggested videos at 9:30? Did I sit at 3 when I took that lunch break? Could I have shortened that lunch break? No. At 5:30, when the sun was going down and I looped back around and I thought, okay, that's it. And I looked at that sun and I looked at the street light, and the street light wasn't on, and the sun had set and the street light wasn't on. It was 5:40 was the sunset. And I said to myself, one more street. And I went through and doubled back until I knew for sure it was too dark. That's how you know. I went that extra 3 feet. Did it gain me anything? No, I didn't get any more leads. But what I did was I broke through that comfort zone and I pushed so that tenacity was the only thing I had left, and I exhausted every possible ounce of energy. And I knew I had to sit down. And when I knew I had to sit down, I got on the phones and I exhausted every possible ounce of energy there. And that is why it hurt so bad for me to get up after the prospecting at 8:05 p.m. because I knew I had exhausted everything. I'm going to go in the jacuzzi now. I'm going to rewind. I'm going to unwind. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to hit it again, 9 a.m. And I vow to you, I swear to you, laws of the universe, that at 9 a.m., I'm going to hit the doors. And I'm going to hit the doors till about 11 o'clock, and I'm going to have my 12 o'clock appointment. And then at 12 o'clock, I'm going to go 1 hour, and then at 1 o'clock, I'm going to see that person, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to knock on the doors from 1:30 to 6 p.m., and then at 6 p.m., I'm going to keep repeating this until I break through. My goal is to make a shit ton of money before the shit hits the fan. And I encourage you guys, make sure you like, subscribe, share, support. It's all good.